going to have another talk for you here at the Velo Vixen Women's Cycling Hub. It's with a gentleman today, but we don't discriminate here. It's all about getting everybody into cycling. And today we're going to be today we're talking about lots of things, and right now we're going to be talking about cycling holidays, because Lee is a specialist in this. So any of you who are intrigued about the idea of cycling holidays, who want to know a little bit more, or indeed who have already been on cycling holidays and want to share a bit of that passion, please do come down and park your bums on these white seats here, and we'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Okay, so we're going to launch straight in with Lee, so if you could please tell us a little bit about Love Velo and what you do.
Hi, I'm Lee Bibring, so I'm the Managing Director of Love Velo. It's actually my baby, set up a few years ago. We've recently partnered with British Cycling, so there's a really nice synergy there between us and British Cycling, with their official travel partner. And Velo Vixen very kindly asked me just to talk about why cycling holidays are for you. You'd expect me to say that because I run a cycling holiday business, but I kind of wanted to just talk about sort of breaking down barriers, because it's something that we see on a daily basis. People wanting to get into biking, and I use the word biking intentionally because I kind of almost feel that cycling has become a very intimidating word, especially around sort of newcomers, people who want to get into cycling for the first time, but don't really know how. We always get sort of the questions: what if I'm too slow? If people sort of just leave me behind? What happens if my flight doesn't arrive? There's so many barriers to entry, and specifically actually the barrier of, is it safe enough? They're kind of all valid questions, and they're questions that our team are really well versed in dealing with. But actually, what I kind of like to strip back is the idea of cycling as an activity rather than a sport. So when I was a kid, I had a rally grifter, a beautiful red bike, and all I remember about that rally grifter, other than chasing my sister around the garden and trying to terrify her with this wild cat noises that came out the bike, was the fact that it gave me a complete sense of freedom. I remember being able to get to the end of the road, and it was a sense of freedom that a 7-8-year-old can't normally get. And kind of when I look into the cycling industry, and specifically the cycling travel industry, I kind of feel we've lost that a bit. There doesn't seem to be a huge element of fun. It's always very, very, in our opinion, it's quite targeted to serious cyclists, and it's less targeted to that key element of time. So spending time by yourself, spending time with your family, spending time with your friends. And I'm interested in those barriers to entry, and specifically, I know I'm a bloke, but women, because we find that the barriers to entry for ladies coming on a cycling holiday completely outweigh the barriers to entry for guys making their first inquiries. We did a little bit of research, and 70% of the cycling industry is male. It showed that the research from Sustrans showed that the barriers to entry for ladies, a lot of it actually bizarrely, which I hadn't realised, was down to appearance, can you believe? But Velo Vixen should kind of have you covered for that. But then there's sort of the barriers to entry for sort of traffic, for age, for fitness, all the stuff I kind of mentioned. And the reason I kind of just wanted to talk is because I think that in some kind of element, we've lost the fun. So if you go out from the UK to mainland Europe, you get to Holland, you've got the right of way pretty much all the way through Holland. If you arrive at a roundabout, there is a specific cycling path around that roundabout. So if you're looking at issues for traffic or nervousness as to safety, you get out to mainland Europe, it's a completely different world. I just did a ride actually with a couple of people from Berlin to London, which is a hell of a slog. But had I wanted to, I could have done 1,000 kilometres from Berlin to the Hook of Holland without ever touching a road. And when I say not touching a road, it's on cycle paths that are absolutely beautifully manicured. There's no glass in the road. It's the most perfect place. I look at other sort of destinations that we sell, particularly Mallorca, which is a real sort of a go-to place for experienced cyclists. But what we've now found are the people who want to get into cycling, who want to go and experience that time on a cycling holiday, going out to places like Mallorca. There's a route in northern Mallorca where there's a 25-kilometre unbroken stretch of, I think it's a disused railway line which they've converted. So there's a real ability to get out into mainland Europe, break down those barriers to entry if you're sort of a nervous person cycling in the UK, whether you're in sort of Manchester, Birmingham, London, where without doubt there are sort of barriers to entry for traffic or anything like that. And that's pretty much Love Velo. Like I say, we sell to holidays across the world, but really interested in marketing and making sure people who are getting into cycling for the first time or who have a real affinity to some form of fitness can go on a cycling holiday without feeling any of that pressure.
Any of the customers that have come along with you that have really had big doubts and fears, and you've managed to persuade them, like, leave those fears at home, I promise you we'll take care of you. Have you got any real standout stories that you remember?
Yeah, there's one that actually sort of just jumps to memory. Is we had there was a lady when we just kicked off. Actually, the business had just relaunched in 2017, and she wanted to go with her 3-year-old, 5-year-old, and 7-year-old. The ages were around that number, but her 5-year-old had a fairly major operation. Didn't sort of delve into what that was. And she was terrified that he just wouldn't be able to do the distances. So we put together a trip that sort of had, it was a point-to-point trip, but it allowed you to stay in one single base if you wanted to. So it gave her the complete flexibility to be able to go on a cycling holiday with her family, with something that she would never have ordinarily been able to do.
And is there anyone that you've kept in touch with afterwards who have said, I've been on this cycling holiday and now, my wings are spread and this is it, I'm flying?
Plenty. I mean, we've got quite a few success stories, so we're extremely proud of that. We have a huge number of repeat clients, and sort of as you say, Anna, the repeat clients that I love to see come back in are the ones that I always talk about, sort of moving them through that funnel. They're never going to be the experienced riders because that's not their goal. Their goal is to be active, to be healthy, and I love seeing those riders that they've just started and maybe they've done a 30-kilometre a day trip in Holland and they're suddenly moving out to maybe the French Riviera or even further afield.
And what about yourself? Before you started the company, have you been on cycling holidays?
Yeah, yes, I've been on cycling holidays. I'm a recreational cyclist, so I run a cycling business, but I wouldn't profess to be a great cyclist. I enjoy it, and to be honest with you, it's one of the reasons we relaunched Love Velo alongside British Cycling, because we're talking to a different audience. We service those experienced riders, and we run trips to the Etape du Tour and Tour de France and various other things, but for me, it was all about spending time personally with my family. I've got 3 kids. I love the idea of being able to get out somewhere and spend real time away from a smartphone, away from an iPad. So yes, I'm a recreational cyclist and I went on plenty of cycling holidays, but it's with a pure view to recreation.
What are your top tips for travel for people that want to travel with a bike who've never done it before? Should they take their bikes on the plane?
No.
No. Confident answer there.
No, well, it's something that we advise our clients not to, unless they're doing a particular race or a sportive where they want to be accustomed to that bike. We would recommend against it, because it's one of the barriers to entry. How do I break my bike down? How do I put it back together? When I come back to London after my holiday, do I have to find someone to put it back together if I'm not confident enough? We can get pretty much any bike in any destination. It's a huge USP for us. So we always say, trust in us. We've got some fabulous bikes in pretty much any destination. Go with one of ours.
And what other top tips do you have for travel? Travel insurance, remembering that sort of thing, phones abroad, riding on the other side of the road, that kind of thing.
I think it depends on the kind of level of cyclist you are. So if you're a competent cyclist, cycling on the other side of the road is not necessarily a huge barrier because you may well have done it before. If you're not, one of my top tips would just be finding a location like maybe the Loire Valley, where 70% of the Loire Velo, which goes 500 kilometres through some of the most beautiful places in France, is off-road. That would be my top tip. And also in terms of price, always look in those shoulder seasons, because you'd be amazed at the kind of value you can get in April, May, away from the school holidays.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'm just going to open it up to the audience now. Is there anybody here who's got any questions about cycling holidays? Because we've got an expert right here who will be able to answer all of your questions. If people do have questions, but maybe they're not feeling comfortable to ask it out loud, where will they be able to find you?
We're on K71, just around the corner, but you can always drop me an email, lee@lovevelo.co.uk, or give us a call in the office. We're at lovevelo.co.uk, where you can find all our details. But give me or one of the team a shout, and we'll always be able to help.
Awesome. Well, inspiring stuff. I definitely feel like going on a cycling holiday.
Always will.
So can you please put your hand? Oh yeah, Phil.
Yes. We've got a variety. Sorry, yes. Phil just asked me whether we kind of have disparate groups or whether they're groups that are joining other groups. So we can pretty much do anything, and that, I suppose, again, is the beauty of, if you're a less experienced rider, you can join a group that is at the same kind of level, or you can do a self-guided ride. But actually what we find is a lot of groups meeting up with each other in locations like New York, Ibiza, mainland Spain, France, because we send so many clients there that we use similar hotels, and everyone kind of mingles in and meets each other.
Quite specific, no interest to anybody else.
Great. Well, if we could just give a round of applause to Lee Brindley for sharing his Bibring.
Really Brindley.
For sharing his experience about cycling holidays. It's been really useful and very interesting.
Thank you very much.